Hello everyone, and welcome to Seniors at Play. I'm your host Zoe, and today we have Mr. Harold Brown, otherwise known as Duke. Hello, Mr. Harold.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Good.
Okay, so tell me a little bit. Let's start off with your nickname, Duke. How'd you get that nickname?
Well, when I was a young fellow and coming up, I used to play around with animals and stuff, and then I started playing ball, and then all of a sudden they nicknamed me Duke for whatever reason, I don't know.
So you don't know, but it just stuck, huh?
Yes, correct, yeah.
That's cool. It's cool to have a nickname, an affectionate nickname,
Yes.
right? Okay, so let's start with your academic career, high school and beyond. Did you go to college? What high school did you go to?
I had a short stint in college.
Okay.
And I came out, my father our family was business orientated.
Okay.
And I had taken business administration in high school, and the stint I did in college was business administration. And at the time, my father was one of the contractors that was in Eggers Crossing that Mr. Vereen had mentioned, and he was pretty successful, but he was only an 8th grader.
Okay.
And so I came out to help do the administration work in our business at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you got to play a part in the foundation of Eggers Crossing.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you said you had a short moment with college. You didn't graduate. Why is it
No.
that you didn't continue?
No, I came out to be with my father because
Okay.
his business was growing, and at the time he had like 22 employees, and he just went to the 8th grade. So my age and knowledge kind of helped us along.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
that's awesome. So you were definitely able to help with the family business.
Yes, right.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit as your job as an assistant director of building services at Princeton University.
Well, I went there. I met a person who was a friend of my father's who when I was working for my father, we didn't have insurances and for hospitalizations and stuff. And I had gotten married, and so talked to this fellow, and he offered me a job at the university, and I went there basically for the benefits.
Right. Okay.
Instead of that. And I was working the night shift and also working for my father during the daytime.
Okay.
And then at that time, since I had some knowledge as far as business administration, and that the university was small at that time in numbers in building services, and I think it was only like 4 or 5 people on a night. Mm-hmm. And then they started expanding, mm-hmm. And then when they expanded, naturally they needed more employees. And I was fortunate enough, being on board, was picked to supervise the night shift in the university.
That's awesome.
Yes. And then it grew to, I think when I started, we had about 12. And when I retired from there, I was in charge of 320 people at the university, yeah. I was assistant director, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So what was your experience like with your colleagues and the overall atmosphere of that job?
Well, we had good relationship. The university was in a big transition because it wasn't 100% altogether clean of being racist at that time. Mm-hmm. And it was a big effort on both sides, you know what I'm saying? So it was a transition, yes. Okay.
But overall, you weren't threatened, or you didn't.
I wasn't threatened, but sometimes they put you in difficult, uncomfortable positions. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. And then of course, naturally being a minority, you had to somewhat, be calm and cool, and I always say laugh all the way to the bank.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as you're making that money, you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I totally understand that. I hear that. So, why did you decide to retire from this position?
Well, one reason I had to retire is because I had an active business going while I was at the university.
Okay.
But I had a brother who was in charge of the day operation, and I just took care of the business part.
Okay.
And then he got sick and he passed, so that I had to make a decision, and I had worked there for 34 years. It was time for me to go anyway.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, the business that you're speaking of. I believe it's called Brown's Paving.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's growing business, and of course, now I call myself in cruise control because I'm not as active and feisty as I was when I started.
Right.
But I have 10 employees, and we do a lot of work, and of course one of the things that I really enjoy is, since I got older and don't want so much, I like being active in helping the minority churches in some of their construction activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that business entail? What kind of work does it entail? What do you guys do exactly?
Well, we basically maintain any parking lots or roadways or anything that has to do with asphalt work. That's mostly in construction. We do concrete work and snow removal and stuff like that. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So had you actually had to, physically get your hands dirty with paving or, plowing snow, or you just kind of, gave the orders?
No, I never was had to go out and do any physical work. No,
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Would you have liked to?
Not really.
No.
No.
I understand. I'd rather give those kind of orders too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a lot. When you're in business, it takes a person that's got to be thinking all the time, and you can't think and be out there working all the time.
Yes, that is right.
And organizing the work and estimating jobs and overseeing the business part.
Right.
Because without that, you won't be successful.
Right. Everything will crumple, right?
That's correct.
So you are definitely the foundation and the brains behind Brown's Paving.
Well, yes, I would say that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
So how many years has your business been going along?
We've been going along for, I think we've celebrated our 45th year.
45 years.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you see yourself retiring from that position or passing your business down to, say, maybe children or grandchildren?
Well, I wish I could pass it on to my nephews. My son is a lot younger than I am. He's retired already. So,
Really?
yeah.
So he's like, I'm not into that.
Yeah, he's not into it. So, no, it's just hard to find. I would like to find someone in the family to take it, but it doesn't seem that's going to be doable at this time.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah. So you see yourself continuing with Brown's Paving for a while?
Yeah, for a not very short while now. I'm
Short while.
contemplating about retiring maybe next year. Yes.
Next year? Oh, that's very short. So I'm thinking you're talking about maybe like a 5-year span. You're like, no, next year I'm out of here.
No.
Well, I mean, you have to have an idea of who you would like, because I would hate to personally pass my business down and then everything just go downhill. Like, I want someone to continue to, keep it successful, or maybe even, escalate the business's success. You don't have an idea of anyone who you could pass that down to?
Well, I have one nephew that I have in the back of my mind and trying to program him into the business. He's good at doing the physical work, but it takes a lot mentally to, and trying to get him involved more in the administration part.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely wish you luck with that. You definitely want to pass the torch down to someone who's going to continue to, succeed, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I enjoy going to church. I do a lot of active things for the churches and on the trustee board and at the church that I attend. And love to watch TV and watch the football games and sports and enjoy eating good food.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned good food. Do you eat out a lot, or do you have like a personal chef?
No, my wife is an excellent cook.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cheap too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, personal life. You mentioned that you have a wife. Is she also the mother of your children?
Yes.
So you guys been together for how long?
Oh, we've been together, I think we celebrating somewhere like 61 years.
So beautiful. I'm praying on that.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful thing.
yeah,
Yeah, you know, you want to literally marry someone into death, do you part, literally. So how many children do you guys have together?
2.
2
A
children?
boy and a girl. Yeah.
Boy and a girl. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Grandchildren?
2. Boy and a girl.
Perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
You're good. So each child has a kid or just one has children?
What? No,
your
no,
children.
my son's the only one. He has a boy and a girl.
Oh,
My
okay.
daughter doesn't have any kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Does she
Yeah.
want children?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, you know, are there any things that you guys like to do as a family? Any activities?
Well,
yearly
holidays we get together, and
Okay.
sometimes we go on trips together.
Things? Okay.
Yeah. And of course, my son was very active, and my grandkids, they're out of the country every month. When they get a break from work, they out of the country.
Really?
And my grandson, he likes to participate in all the marathons and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So you get to, you know, go and see him when he does his marathons and everything?
Yeah.
So what are some places that him doing those marathons has took you guys as a family?
Well, he did in New York. He did one and done one in Philadelphia, and I didn't go to the one when he did it in California.
No, too far for you?
Yeah, I didn't go to that one. Yeah.
How do you feel about flying?
Oh, it's okay. Flying's no problem with me. No.
Okay. So you know, you don't mind traveling, you know?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are there some major places that you've traveled to that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I've been to some places. I've been to Nova Scotia, and then I went to Canada, and I've been to several places. Yeah,
Really?
I enjoyed them. Yeah.
So you did this in
I
your
did a
younger
lot of
years?
traveling. I did a lot of traveling when I was administrator at the university. We sent us away, with seminars and
Okay.
classes, and it was interesting.
Okay, so a lot of your traveling took place before or after retirement?
It was before, when I was at the university.
Before retirement.
Yes.
Okay, so any hobbies that you and your wife like to participate in together?
No, mostly just cooking out and having a good time. We did a lot of local traveling all the time until she doesn't get around so good and so more, so she's not interested in. But we have traveled a lot,
Right.
different places all over the East Coast.
Right.
She doesn't fly, so she never went to
Okay.
these other places with
So
me.
that would hinder you from flying because your wife probably won't want to come along.
Right.
Okay. Is there any career path that you may have been interested in besides the one that you chose in business? Is there anything else that you were interested in while you were in high school?
Not really. I love sports. Every minority's dream is to be a professional ball player, but
Right.
it wasn't in my cards.
Right.
No.
What ball in particular? Basketball, football, baseball?
No. I played baseball and football.
You like baseball and football.
Yeah.
Which one would you say you liked more?
Well, I played baseball. I like that more because football was mostly orientated around the schools. Baseball we could play all year round.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah.
very true.
And then when I was coming up, it wasn't really prevalent for a black person to, enter the professional in the sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because during my time, Jackie Robinson was, and then O.J. Simpson, and those people were just being inducted into, and they were outstanding ball players,
Right.
way and above everybody else.
Okay.
Because that's what you had to do in those days. If you was a minority, you had to be twice as good. And it still is that way now, but people just don't realize it.
It is.
Yes.
History does, have a habit of repeating
Yes,
itself.
right.
So overall, you would say that your business career path was ideal for you.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, you were
Yeah.
born to lead and to run a business.
Well, yeah, it satisfied my needs, and that was to be able to live a comfortable life and also to have my kids and grandkids educated. That was my big goal.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So your children went to college as well?
Oh yeah.
And what career path did they choose?
Well, my son, he's a physician, and my grandson, he works in the financial on Wall Street, and my granddaughter, she works for some organization out of Boston. So.
Oh, so that's where she stays now, in Boston?
No, she has a home office in New York, but
Okay.
but the people she works for, their home office is in Boston.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
And they both graduated. In fact, everybody graduated from Ivy League schools.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Very successful family.
Yeah, my son graduated from Princeton. My grandson graduated from the University of Penn. And my granddaughter graduated from Yale.
That's awesome. I know
Yeah.
you're very proud of your children,
Yeah.
all your offspring,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Well, how did you and your wife meet?
Oh, well, we met, the fellow who you talked to first, Mr. Vereen there, Fred, his brother had a place that was a pool hall, and he kind of did stop doing it, and he let Fred have it, and we used to have Friday night dances, and that's how I met my wife. She came there to one of those dances, and that's how I met her.
And that, was love at first sight then, huh?
I don't know about at first sight,
So
but
how did that work out?
but it worked out, okay.
So you were interested in her and she wasn't having it?
No, I think both of us was the same. Yeah, it was both of us, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have been together for how long?
61 years.
61 years,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very successful family,
Yeah.
very successful children. That's awesome. So, are there any hobbies that you like to do now during the day?
No, the most
Fill your time up?
things that I do for enjoyment now is involved in my church.
Okay.
Yes.
Any particular things they do? I know that my church, for instance, like during Easter, they do Easter egg hunts. They do trunk or treat for Christmas. People volunteer and participate. So,
No,
what kind of things
I'm
do they
just
do
on the
there?
trustee board and helping with the finances and also with the maintenance of the church itself, the building. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So of course, why didn't I think the business part? That's what you're mostly into. So you're
Yeah.
very stern business. No painting, no arts, no music, nothing like that.
No, not too much. No.
That's understood. Some things, the arts aren't for everybody,
Yeah,
right?
that's correct.
Okay.
I enjoy the arts. I mean, I enjoy listening to good music, and
Right.
and I like to look at nice artwork. I'm interested in the art, but not for myself to do physically. Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there anything about yourself that you would like the viewers to know? Something about you that's different, unique, interesting?
Not really. I'm pretty outgoing, and I think people can understand. They know how I feel and what I like and dislike.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Cool.
pretty obviously if you know me.
Right.
Mhm.
So, we hadn't actually talked about your high school career. What high school did you go to or graduate from?
Trenton High,
Trenton High School?
yeah, 1954.
Okay, and what are some things you studied while you were in Trenton High? Business, right?
Yeah, business administration. Yes,
And
that's
that's
correct.
all? No other interests?
No, I played football and baseball there. I did.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I was on the theater staff for putting, setting up for the programs that they had I was what they call a stage crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's something interesting. Stage crew, part of the production of something bigger than yourself.
Yes.
So
right.
what are some of the things you did? Curtains, lights, or
Well, we did
props?
curtains. I used to do the lights and stuff. And in fact, I did that a little bit at the university because when I went there, they didn't have anybody that was taking care of the lights and stuff in a couple of their halls. In fact, that's how I met Muhammad Ali. I was running the lights for the university, and at that time he was going around protesting the war,
Okay.
because he didn't opt to
Yeah.
serve,
Yeah, he didn't
and he
wanna
was
go.
going around to all the universities and colleges, and I was in the protection room when he was there, and I met him.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's something interesting about you, being a part of the stage crew. So that was, that wasn't anything that you thought that you could make a career out of, or you just figured
I
that's
wasn't
just
interested
leisure
in it.
work?
No, it just was something to do.
Something to do.
Yes, yeah.
Did you get paid for it?
No,
No,
No.
just, volunteer work,
Yeah,
helping out, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. At least you got to, meet Muhammad Ali through your volunteer work.
Mhm.
Did you get a picture with him or get to have a conversation with him?
I had a conversation with him. We didn't take no pictures. And, of course, working at the university, you got to meet a lot of dignitaries because during the commencement exercise, they always honored, they give honorary degrees out. And I met quite a few people there. Favorite one that I met and talked to a lot was Ella Fitzgerald when she was there. And she was very interesting, very nice lady.
Okay, for those who don't know, who is Ella Fitzgerald?
You don't know Ella Fitzgerald? You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I do. We're talking about the viewers who don't know who Ella Fitzgerald is.
I'm sure you should.
They should know, huh?
She was one of the greatest black jazz singers that there was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Muhammad Ali is more of a household name. A lot of people know who he is.
Well, he was much younger than she was, you see.
Right.
I mean, yes. She was before his time. Well, during that time, too, but Ella Fitzgerald, you can ask anybody, they should know her.
They should know who she is,
yes,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember any other, infamous people that you got a chance to meet?
Well, yeah, at the time when we opened up one of the Woodrow Wilson School, we had, and I even sat down and talked to him for a short time, and that was President Johnson when he was there, and President Carter, and also they were the two main ones that I had conversation was, and when Reagan was there, they had real strict, and I didn't get to see him, talk to him. Yeah.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some things, in having these conversations with these infamous people, what are some things that they enlightened you on or brought to your attention that, you weren't really
Well, they
aware
didn't.
of
They
before?
wouldn't. They would speak to you and just ask you, simple things because they had a lot of people to
speak with.
Yeah.
Right.
They would speak and ask how you doing. You know what I'm saying, and that's about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you got the chance to meet them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't really think I got to actually meet and speak to anyone famous. I don't believe so. Maybe like a radio host or something like that, but not Muhammad Ali. I would have loved to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
So you would say, just, your experience and your career and working.
Earl Jones, he was there when I got to meet him.
Okay.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you definitely appreciate the career path that you chose because you got to meet these different people.
Oh, yeah. It was very interesting working at the university. A lot of things went on, even though, with the shortfalls with the race relationship there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so despite that, you still made the best out of it.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it was very nice talking to you this evening. It was very nice getting to know you.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely inspire me. You and your entire family, very successful. And I pray that one day I get to be as successful as you and have a successful family with offspring who are graduating from Ivy League colleges, if that's what they choose. That's definitely a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's all for today. And we'll be seeing you again next time at Sears at Play. Bye-bye.